So I've changed my mind about the amount of instruments that are going to be involved. I was going to have a lead guitar and a bass guitar and then a set of drums and then a microphone stand, like a typical band would have. But what I want to have instead is a lead guitar, a bass guitar, a 12-string acoustic guitar, and then the drums and the microphone stand. So I'm just going to add a guitar, but it's going to be a acoustic guitar, modeled somewhat after a early mid 80s 12-string Yamaha, like the one my old buddy Trav used to have that got stolen from us on a camping trip one time. And here what I've done is I've laid out fiberglass sheets this size, about the size of a sheet of paper roughly, 3 layers thick, and I've done 2 of them. And then later I'm going to, once they're set up, I just got done with them. Once they're set up, I'm going to trace the pattern that I want onto them and cut them both out. That'll be the front and the back of the guitar. And then over here, I've gone ahead and primed these guys in a wet sanding primer, nice and heavy, so they'll be ready to sand on tomorrow. All right, now these are cured out. I let them sit overnight. Didn't need to. It just happened to be I did them at the end of the day. But now I'm going to go ahead and peel them up off there, flip them over so I'm dealing with the smooth side, and then trace out the shape of the guitar I want. And so now I've got this peeled up off of there, and now I'm going to split this in half, stack them up, draw out my guitar design, and cut them both out at the same time. And here they are all cut out, ready for the next part of the process. So now I've taken one of these, traced it off onto some styrofoam, about the right thickness, cut it out, marked where the hole's going to be in the guitar, that hole. And I'm going to cut that out fairly large, maybe even down into here a little ways, because it doesn't need to be a full core. And then I'm going to glue this to one side and the other panel to the other side. Now I've used this little saw here, cut the middle out of it, and now I'm going to glue this into one side, or this half to one side and this half to the other side. And now we've got this core glued together. Now I'm going to go ahead and put fiberglass all the way around the sides, seal it up. Now here I've sketched out the neck of this guitar. I looked up an image of it to see if I got the head of it correct. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut it all out, except for this part right here. This is going to be just as wide as it is right now, and the rest of it's going to look like the neck. That way I can put that inside of here and fasten it inside of there. Okay, so I've got these edges rounded off. I got it pretty much the way I want it. And then I went ahead and pulled that wood back just a little bit so that neck would stand out. So I can now cut this out, and that neck will still stand out from the guitar, and the rest of this will all be between these 2 layers. And now I've got it all clamped together and held together in a way that this has already been glued. Now I'm going to go ahead and just fiberglass this side, let gravity do its job, let it set up, flip it over, and do the other side. And we got the first side done down here. Now I've got the second side exposed. I'm going to go ahead and get some fiberglass on it. So we're here the next morning, and I'm getting ready to unclamp this. Both sides are done now. And I'm going to shave these edges off, braid this middle part, and do body work over it and the sides. And so here it is, all cleaned up. I have body work to do yet, but it's got the shape I want. Now I'm going to go ahead and get some body work done before I put the hole in it. The hole will be the last thing I do. Body work will be the next thing I do. Now we're finally ready completely to start picking out colors and painting on these, and completely ready to paint on these faces as well. Here I've got the center where this hole is going to be marked, and I've got this hole drill out. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the hole in my acoustic guitar. And here's what it looks like initially. There's the piece down the bottom there. And I will eventually get in there and dig all of that styrofoam out of there from both sides so it's actually hollow. It's mostly hollow as it is. Alright, what I've done is I've taken this, it's 1/8 of an inch, it's narrower than 1/8 of an inch, but I think it's a little wider than 1/16. I'm not exactly sure what millimeter this is, but I've taken some of this fine line tape and I've gone around there. I've gone around the entire outline, and then I've taped off this and this just so I can spray the next color. On this one it will be a darker brown on the sides and on the neck and the top, And on this one, it'll be black everywhere. This is just a black base. And at this time, I'm going to go ahead and drill all 6 holes down each side and install 6 pegs down each side, and then drill 6 small holes down each side of the top and install these screws. Once they're installed, I'm going to go ahead and smear just a little bit of bodywork across the top to take out the cross pattern, sand that flat, and then put a dab of silver spray paint on it. So the ends of these knobs are all going to be silver, 6 on each side, and then I'll tie my strings off to there. And so now I've put glazing in all the screw heads, and now this morning I'm going to sand all that glazing off so it's just nice and flat. And then I'm going to go ahead and put just a tiny drop of silver paint on every one of them. So what you're looking at here is everything that I'm going to need to build the next 3 members of this band. We've got the 3 torsos, the 3 shoulders, all 3 heads, 3 sunglasses, the eyeballs, jaws, all the feetsies, the little handsies, shoulder and upper arms, lower arms or forearms, all 6 legs, all 3 spines, all 3 necks. So I guess I'll begin this morning by saying Merry Christmas, because today is Christmas, but it's still pretty darn early out. Nobody's up yet, so I just come out to the shop to tinker with some stuff. And what I've done is this. This is just a chunk, and so is this, of the top pole that goes across the chain link fence. And I just cut it and cut an angle at the bottom of each one. So they're both at not the same angle as each other. This is a more extreme angle. And I went ahead and welded them to good sized washers, and then drilled holes in the washers, and then just put 1 screw in each, just to hold it to the bench so I can finish both of these guys and get them all done. And then once they're all done, I can pick them up by the base and feel which direction they want to lean, how heavy they are. And that'll help me decide where I'm going to put them on that paint can lid. So the paint can lid will best distribute that weight. And that's why they're screwed to the bench. I'll just have them here for now. This one here is going to be pretty well balanced though. And they're welded up. Now I'm ready for the next step. Well, now I'm committed. I've gone ahead and decided the overall shapes of these 2 guys. And now I'm going to go ahead and start piecing them together. At this point, I have the torsos fitted, all cut out. I have these little plates installed. And then I have the, like I said, both the torsos are fitted. They're both cut. These have been cut twice now. They've been cut down, so they're down inside of here, both of them. Now I'm going to go ahead and run the arms in and figure out my arm configuration and weld them to this. So once again, the torso is actually free floating. It floats on there, but it's pinched in place. By the time these are welded on, there's no way you could take it off, even, you know, with force. Drilled the hole all the way through the first layer, because why not? It's only, you know, it's less than a 1/4 inch thick, and it's not going to hurt anything. And then I did the same thing there. Nail, picked the positioning of the hand, welded the hand in place, welded the hand in place, picked its positioning. Now what I've done here is I've taken this strip of stainless steel, and I just cut this out of some stainless that came off of a semi. It was all dented up and stuff, and I just cut these strips out, quite a few of them. And what I've done is I've just held it to the back of the skull, wrapped it around to the point that I thought it needed to be, and then marked it. And now I'm going to cut it at that mark, figure out exactly how many of these strips I want per skull, and cut them all out. That way they're all curved, they're all ready to go. What I've decided to go with here is 6 strands of hair per strap that's going to be riveted to the skull. There's going to be 7 straps on each skull and 6 strands on each strap. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, you see I bent the ends, I'm going to place them about like that, and then I'm going to weld them. And then once I'm all done welding them, get enough for 1 skull, and then I'll place them on the skull where I think it's going to work, and we'll go from there. Now here I've got the first 7 of them done, enough to get the first head done, and I'm going to go ahead and start figuring out where they're going to go on the skull, and then figuring out how I'm going to bend the individual hairs. And now I've got all 7 of the individual hair extensions finished. And now I've got this. It's all sanded and ready to go. I'm just going to go ahead and use this mount that I put on here. You remember these 2 mounts I put on there for the guys. I'm going to go ahead and use that. That way the back of the skull is kind of pointed toward me. Gives me a good vantage point. I can start figuring out exactly how I want these to go on here and how I want to bend them once they are. Now on that Mohawk, I attached it with rivets, but on these, I'm going to use these tiny screws. These are great little screws for something like this. So I'm going to drill small holes and I'm just going to screw them in. So if I'm fashioning the hair and one of them breaks off, I can go ahead and just unscrew it quick, get it off there and re-weld it. I wouldn't even think of trying to weld it, you know, on the top of the skull. We'll get the first side done. And here we've got all of it done. Now I just need to figure out how I'm going to do the hair. But before I do that, I'm going to number each one of these. The front one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the reason for that is so I know which one's the front and I know which order they go on there. So I can take out all the screws and go ahead and paint this head. So they've all been marked. The fronts of them all have been marked. They've been removed. Now I'm going to go ahead and select a color. So I got this guy painted yesterday, the silver that I wanted to. I got the leather look down below here. Here he's all masked up. Shirt's been painted. And here in a little bit we'll unmask him and put him together. Halfway through the hairstyling session. Now I got him pretty much together. I just need to do the shoes and put the guitar in place. But the first thing I need to do is move this one. This is the one he's going to actually be mounted to this. This paint can lid that I prepped and painted in flat brown. And I've got two of them, one for each remaining band member. All right, well, it's looking like we got another one done. Let's have a look. All right, this is my old bandmate Trav in robot form. Holding the guitar, holding a 12-string guitar. Black leather pants, red sleeveless shirt. Busy in mid headbang. But here he is, jamming out. Here they both are together, jamming out. I'll build a microphone stand before too long. Finish the other guitarist and the drummer and the drum set. But as you can see, they're at scale with each other. Built from basically all the same materials, same dimensions. Slightly different style of heads, very slightly. And then just different colors. Well, there's another gig completed in our tour of building metal band members. If you like what you see here, go ahead and hit the like button because that helps. Subscribe if you haven't already because we always got something going on. See you guys around.